All right, let's kick this off, guys. Welcome everybody to today's Humorously Speaking Toastmasters Club. We're happy to have both new members and guests showing up today. A lot of our members, couldn't make it because it's summer and all that stuff, but we still have a good turnout tonight. So it really gives me hope that this club is resilient, if you will, despite all the changes. I think between yesterday and today, Carl was telling me we've probably made like 7-8 changes, and some of those in the last 5 minutes. And that's basically life. We have to kind of just roll with the punches and be able to adapt as circumstances adjust. So the resilient theme was from Frank, actually, but unfortunately his mom fell down the stairs in Montreal, so he has to fly over there and help her find a rehab center. So then Hafiz took over as the Toastmaster role, who again is not here because he said he's running late, so hopefully he will come and take back the role when he does come in. Now, I want to get the meeting going so we don't hell up the time anymore. So I'll introduce our timer for today, Anka. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good to be here tonight, and good to see you all. So I'm going to be the timer for our meeting tonight, and that is to say I'm going to keep track of time, and the most important idea is to be able to express a certain thought or idea or a presentation within a frame of time. So it's an exercise that we all need to do in our almost everyday life. I'm going to keep track of time so you all know that the type of speech that you chose, and speakers, for instance, are going to speak, the speeches are going to take between 5 to 7 minutes. And just to give you an example, at 5 minutes I'm going to show a green card. When we are going to have 6 minutes in the presentation, I'm going to show a yellow card. And if time goes by and the presentation is still going on, I'm going to show the red card, that is to say, let's get to an end, try to close the presentation. Okay, I had 1 minute. Thank you.
Those of you that weren't here, she was the grammarian last time. She went just a little over time, maybe like 15 minutes. True. Now we have our grammarian. Let's welcome Petra.
Good evening. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. The word of the day is resilience. Actually, resilience is today's theme, and then resilient, I included it. Whenever we speak, you can use both of them, and I will count it. And we have to give applause whenever a speaker mentions about resilience and resilient. So meaning, the resilience, the meaning is the ability of spring back into original shape. So the capacity to recover quickly from the difficulties and then hardships. So when something goes wrong, do you tend to bounce back or fall apart? So when you have resilience, you harness in inner strength that helps you rebound from setback or challenges. For example, job loss or an illness or disaster or the death of the loved one. So resilience won't make your problems go away, but it can give you the ability to see beyond the difficulties, even find the gratitude or compassion in the life process, better controlling the stress and adapting to the situation. So hopefully you find this topic is interesting and you want to be more resilient in your life and enjoy today's topic. So other than the word of the day, I will count also filler words, for example, or like, and so, kind of, or like, this kind of words I will count it. And then if I can do that, other also grammatical errors I'll find and give you advice. I don't know I have capacity that, but anyhow, thank you.
Thank you, Petra. Petra walks the talk. See, I have to demonstrate resiliency myself. Hey, Hafiz.
I can you mind send someone? I'm at the downstairs.
Yeah. We'll send someone down. Sorry, you got to show some resiliency as well. Thank you. All right, let's keep going with our laugh counter. We have Antoinette helping us out with the laugh counter. Welcome.
Good day. Today I'm going to be the laugh counter. What it basically entails is the following. I'm going to count the laughs, the groans, the gasps, and the oh. So all I want to say is go for it and good luck.
All right, thank you, Antoinette. So now on to our speaking portion. Our first speaker, Carl Urban, is doing his speech number 9. So if I can welcome his evaluator, Paraz. Do you have his objectives? Can you read it for us, please?
So the objective for speech 9 is persuade listeners to adopt your viewpoint or ideas to take some action. The second one is appeal to the audience interest. The third one is use logic and emotion to support your position.
Carl Urban, what's in it for you? What's in it for you, Carl Urban?
Thank you. If I ask you, what's in it for you? And answer, you get out of it as much as you put into it. What does it mean? What I'm talking about? Do you imagine anything? It's quite general. So, another question. Why are we here? We are here because we are motivated, because we use our club to improve our communications and confidence. What's in it for me, Hafiz? What's in it for me? Well, my objective is to present speeches, to enjoy humor, and improve my communication skills at the same time. Most important, what's in it for you guys, all of you? How much do you want to gain? What do you want to gain, and how fast? My answer is simple. It's entirely up to you. It is in your hands, because you get out of it as much as you put into it. So be resilient. Our club will help you to achieve what you couldn't really, or to take you a long time to achieve on your own, because we are your support group. We evaluate and encourage you. You get manuals to guide you. You present speeches in front of live audience. You learn how to evaluate and how to listen. Very important, how to listen. Your mentor, for example, can give you an advice and answer your questions. You give impromptu speeches to teach you how to think on your own. You learn to conduct meetings, and you learn other club activities. You observe and learn from others. And you get motivated and inspired by others. You are in charge. You are resilient. And you are determined. Your attitude is, if they can do it, I can do it. You monitor your progress by viewing, watching internet, because we have this system here and everything is recorded. So therefore, if you give a speech and you want to see, for example, progress, or if you want to go back to it and say, well, how did I progress? You can do it. So therefore, you self-evaluate, and you are your own judge. So basically, your determination, dedication, persistence, resilience, and a lot of hard work is the winning formula for you. You are going to improve your speaking abilities and your confidence to speak in public. It's basically, but you will remember, it's in your hands, because you get out of it as much as you put into it. And be resilient. Now, is that all? Is that all you can gain with our club? No. There are other benefits you can gain. For example, you can participate. You can become club officer, for example. You can participate in area speech competitions, which is outside our club. You can participate in area speech evaluations, again, outside our club. And you participate in events which are offered by Toastmasters International. Now, is that all, or do you want more? Do you want to get more out of this? Well, there is. For example, we are visited by Toastmasters from other clubs, from other cities, and even from other countries. For example, last year, one Toastmaster, Australian Toastmaster, flew to Vancouver, made a plan to travel across Canada all the way to Montreal, and he stopped in individual cities where he visited also Toastmasters Club. When he got to Toronto, he obviously visited the Humorously Speaking Toastmasters Club. Now, why did he do that? Well, he was number one. He was looking for a job. He used this opportunity. And at the same time, first thing to do was, when he got to some city, he connected with Toastmasters Club, where he got he got opportunity to have a speech, to meet people, but at the same time, he had a chance to get some first-hand information about job market, if he was lucky. Now, another is, for example, Frank. He's not available today. He didn't come. Oh, what's that? That's interesting. It's over. So anyway, Frank, for example, he traveled, visits your computer. It's Bank of Montreal. So what? Anyway, excuse me. Basically, you imagine you imagine that with Toastmasters Club, you can go anywhere in the world and travel, meet people, and have a good time. But the bottom line is that it is all in your hands, and you get out of it as much as you put into it. In other words, you have to be determined and be resilient. Thank you. Oh, that's maintenance person.
If you guys could take a few minutes to mark the evaluation forms in front of you. Carl would appreciate your written feedback. You can give him the written feedback once you're done or whenever it's convenient. So please, you can take over again.
Sorry, when did you join?
When did I join?
Yeah.
Did you remember? Probably would be last week.
In
Last
June
week.
or July?
Last week. I mean,
Last week or July?
in
Doesn't matter. It's a huge
in July.
it doesn't
July.
matter.
Shukla wants to talk to you, so I'll get a chance.
So,
How to evaluate?
evaluate. Or you have to evaluate too?
Do I need? Everybody needs?
Yeah. So you just write down this speech title, speaker, or you're the evaluator, date, and you just put whatever you want. You can rank 1 to 5 So yeah, it's not anything serious.
What is the speech title?
On this, I don't know. You can ask him. He's right there. If you want.
There is no here, right?
It's not here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. It's bigger. I will read bigger.
I'm just gonna turn on the camera for this one. Just give me a second.
Hi everybody, hope you all enjoy the summer. And we have a wonderful speech by the Carl. Hope you have already completed your evaluations. Now it's my pleasure to welcome one of the icebreaker speech right now. He joined Toastmaster just 2 weeks last sessions in the July. And it's very wonderful. By joining just one sessions, he's going to deliver a wonderful speech with us. And just a few things I'm sharing with you from his background. He's an electrical engineer, and his expertise on the full stack, especially is on the web development. And he's very jolly. Last times, if I'm not wrong, he evaluated one of our speech, and that was a wonderful evaluations. So let's welcome the Rohit.
Hold on.
Oh, his evaluations will be done by
Ivy, who's not here.
Ivy. So
So we need somebody else.
and his speech title is 3 Stages of his life. So let's welcome to the Rohit for his ice-breaking speech. Thank you.
Video these. Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Rohit, and I'm going to be giving my icebreaker speech. So I picked the topic of 3 stages of my life. And I'll just give you a quick introduction about me as a person before I do that. Just a very quick introduction. So basically, I grew up in India. When I was 9 years old, I moved to New Zealand with my family. And then when I was 21, I moved on my own to Australia. And then when I was 25, I moved to Canada. So as you can imagine, there's quite a few stages in my life. And we've all had stages in our life. And I'm going to just focus on 3 stages of my life today. I'm going to be talking to you about my high school life, my university life, and my graduate life. So let's begin with high school life. High school is an important time for learning for everybody. And we all know we are all just growing, trying to find our own way. I was lucky enough to be in a high school which was academically very sound. And it was an all-boys high school too. So my focus was very much on the books, for the good or the bad. It helped me really like develop my academic kind of abilities. So it was a good place to learn subjects like Latin, and Latin, as you know, is something which English is made out of. So learning Latin, I really got more into English because I wasn't Latin because Romans are cool. So most people like Latin because of Romans, right? Who doesn't? And then I got into English literature because you learn how the language is structured, and then you gain more appreciation for it. And I had some really good English teachers as well to really inspire me. And of course, there's like great legends like Shakespeare, there's Chaucer, there's Tennessee Williams, and a whole lot of other authors and artists who have really tried to write a good piece of work to inspire others and inspire children, high school children, all kinds of people. And of course, I did the rest because I am an engineer, so I was good at math. That's like a given, right? But I also tried to focus on social studies. I tried to focus on history. I was really moved by the whole movement of equality, of the civil rights movement, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So I got a good understanding of the world around me through high school, and I was really appreciative of that. So as you can imagine, coming from such a great schooling and all that, your head is in the clouds, and you're like, yes, time for university, and yes, I'm gonna be up there, maybe Microsoft, maybe IBM. Let's see what the future holds, why not? So then enter university. So one more new stage of life. So I entered engineering. And I thought, great, now is my chance to shine, to make something of myself, to build something. So I built quite a few things. I built great electronics, computer hardware, really learned something I really loved and liked. And then what happened in my third year, I got an opportunity to go to Australia. So that's how I went to Australia. And that was for an internship, basically. So I thought to myself, great, it's an internship. Let me see what I can do there. My mom told me that, you're going there, that's great. And, if you can really go there and stay there, like, show me. Why don't you show me, Like, you keep telling me you want to move out, like, tough guy. Let's see some more action. So I thought, okay, great. That's my chance. I got this company. I did well. I had a good rapport with my bosses, and I showed some resilience, basically. What happened is that I chose to stay in Australia. I said, okay, I'm going to transfer university there, and I transferred to a better university with better standards, and that too was appealing for me, to go to a better university, learn from a higher level of education where there's more motivated people. And it worked out well. The only catch was I had to spend 1 extra year for my university. So that just meant I got to learn more about engineering and whatnot. So once again, it was nearing my graduation time, and I was pretty happy because this company I was working with, I was doing good work. I also did my 4th year project with them, so things were looking good, like definitely I'm going to join this company, right? And I had 3 interviews with them. I had a medical health checkup. It was all good stuff. Like I was pumped. I was excited. But then this industry, the cement manufacturing industry, which I was working in, it had a downturn. They had some budget cuts, and they just said, "Okay, sorry, Rohit, we can't take you." So I thought to myself, "Okay, that's not great, but I have a good education. I have a good background. I have to show some resilience, and I have to somehow get through this." Because things happen in your life, but doesn't mean you should get down. So it was a 9-month period after that to kind of my graduate life where it started, where I did like 150 applications. I had 10 interviews from there. At that time, I was like delivering pizzas. I was working for a senior engineer. I was doing like tutoring. I was doing whatever I could to kind of keep me up, keep me working, keep me motivated. And finally, I got a job at a manufacturing company in Sydney after all of the struggle. And I thought, great, that's it. I have my job, and great. I have a good background, and we're back to where we were before, and it's going to be great, smooth sailing. Well, no, that was not the case. So I was basically a young kid in a new field, and I had to earn my right to be there and really gain the respect of everybody there. So it was a new challenge once again, and pretty much it was like a medium-sized company, so I had to kind of fill in a role of an engineer within around like 2 months, and that was quite a big jump for me, because it was just like, hey, you're a grad, this is what we do, learn it quickly, we're a medium-sized company, and we have to like get you working like tomorrow, that's it. Like you don't have like a whole 6 months period. You start tomorrow, you start working on what we're doing right now. So once again, I showed some resilience, and I thought, no, I have not failed at anything else in my life, and this will not be the start. So I really put my head down. There were a ton of mistakes, obviously. Like, we don't have to kind of say something false here. Everyone makes mistakes when you're starting out. One big mistake I made is that I didn't used to ask many questions. So I learned that hey, ask questions first, whenever you can, and really learn, because people prefer people who learn and try to learn, really well quickly, rather than end up, at a later stage and then ask a very simple question, which I also did that, right? but I thought, no, that's a great lesson to get from all this. So basically, yeah, like this whole journey, it showed me that you have to be resilient, and you know, as a sort of small blurb about what I'm doing right now. So then I also came to Canada and I did my master's degree here, and then I switched over to a new field, software development. And today was my first day of my job actually, as a software developer. So that was once again like a place to show resilience, and I'm actually back at square one in this field. I'm a junior once again, and I am in the same situation really, where they would like someone to show results tomorrow, and I'm up for the task. So all I would like to say is that we all go through stages in my life. I have told you about my high school stage. I've told you about my university life. I've told you about my graduate life. The two things I would like to take, for you guys to take from this speech, which took me some time to learn, is that always ask questions, always raise your hand, never be shy to say you don't know something, because that means that you can find something out. And secondly, always be resilient, always be cheerful, always be positive. My main motto every day, which gets me up out of bed, is carpe diem, which means seize the day. And my friend, he actually told me like a better one, which is carpe momento, which is seize the moment. So I would like to encourage everyone in whichever walk of life they are to always keep seizing the moment and seizing the day. All right, thank you so much for listening to my speech.
Thank you, Rohit, to walk me through your 3 stages of life. That's a wonderful speech. So everybody, can you please take 1 or 2 minutes to evaluate Rohit's speech?
When it's yellow, you gotta hold it up and make sure he sees it. Okay. Yeah, you can't put it down because he didn't see it. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, that was 9 minutes.
Oh, was it? I didn't see any time. Was it? Yeah, I'm sorry. I was actually looking for to give a.
Are you worried for my indications?
Yeah, I was waiting for you. I thought I was actually under time. I was under time. I thought.
You got it. Your job.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's his business. Your job is to show.
Okay.
Sorry, I had no idea I went that way.
So, hope everybody's done with the evaluations. Now I'd like to introduce our third speaker for the day. She is an accomplished author, educator, and the motivational speaker, and the professional coach, the Shukla Datta. She is also our member of this club, and she's a guest right today. And just to share with some of this is her third published book, which is published just today. So she want to just share with these books with everybody. This is a mosaic of relationship. So if anybody wants to know details about these books or writings, you can discuss with Shukla. So her topic is today is a general speech. Her topic is how to stay in marriage life and not to kill your spouse. And the evaluator for his speech is Carl. So we just welcome the Shukla for his delivery her speech.
Which is better, me or the screen? Forget the screen. How many of you here are engaged, newly married, and married for a long time? What a tragedy. It is said that marriage is like wearing 3 rings: engagement ring, wedding ring, and any guess? Suffering. I have a confession. I have just had my 36th wedding anniversary. Yes, there were claps, and someone came. Thank you. Someone came and asked, "Do you have any advice for long-lasting marriage?" I said, "Of course. Learn the C factor in relationship, and that will help you stay in marriage and not kill your spouse." Fellow Toastmasters, have you ever wondered what makes relationships go stale and rotten? Is it lacking of love? With a show of hands, can you please tell me? Is it lack of love? Yes? Wrong. This is lack of good communication. Lack of good communication is #1 killer in relationship. It is surprising to know that how relationship can even develop in the early stages without good communication skills. Take my example. When our love fly, firefly, love firefly lit for the first time, it took us on it has a magical quality. And that sparkling moments made us, you know what us means, me and my partner, made us spellbound. We both became deaf and dumb. Ideal situation for romancing. But as you know, good time doesn't last long. When love thinned out and dreams were over, what happened? The alarm bell rang. Does it ring a bell with any one of you here? Well, it did with me. Listen, one day, after the argument, my husband told me, "You know what? I was a fool. I married you." I told him, "Yes, dear, I know, but I was in love. I didn't notice." Communication is very important. Many people think that marriage is messy. Do you think so? Are you married?
No,
Okay.
still enjoy the life.
Okay. That's what they enjoy, because they think marriage, many think that marriage is messy, it sucks. But I tell you, there is no bad marriage. There is only bad communication. Many of us ignore the C factor in relationship, that how communication is so much powerful to transform our misery, relationship misery, into magnificent, into magical one. Let me share with you 3 important communication tips in relationship. #1 is speak out. Speak out. My mother used to tell me, "Shukla, you have to, just because you can speak, you don't have to speak all the time. You have to know when to speak out and when to keep your mouth shut." See, many of us, we want our partners to read our mind. And if the partners expect their spouses to read their minds, they are destined to doom their relationship. The reason is assumptions are misleading and expectations are frustrating. Think about it. My neighbor, David and Martha, they were married for 5 years. They have been married for 5 years. And they are having hard time communicating with each other. One day, Martha told me, "Shukla, you know what? I think I have better communication connection with my dog Sienna than with David. I wish David speaks out his mind and not dance around it." this happens with many, many relationships. So partners should be vocal. Being candid means being better connected with the partners. And this makes, when we are open, speak our mind, then what happens? Two winning situation happens. One is the person who is speaking out his or her mind becomes so free, as if she or he is breathing the Hawaiian breeze. And the partner feels trusted and respected that the other person spoke out her or his mind. So this is number one. What is number one? Speak out. Number two, speak not. Many of us have loose mouth disease. This is what always we like to talk and make comments, make judgments, etc. Now what happens, it is very easy, or it's very normal to have arguments and fight in relationships. You know, the Rolling Stones make noise. So what happens, somebody is laughing here, yes, yeah. So what happens when we are, when relationships, when arguments become very hot, intense, and near explosion, then what happens? We speak out, we tell things to the partners that we repent later. You may have heard it, that make your speech when you are angry, and you will make the best speech ever, only to repent later. So what happened? This is what happened to my client Martha. She said, one day in a rage, she told her husband, Dave, I am tired of this relationship. I'm sick of this relationship. Why do you want to break up? And the rest is history. So we have to be very careful when we have to speak not. Because sometimes it is said, a smile can fix many problems, and silence on time can ignore or avoid many relationship issues. So it is difficult changing the emotion. Okay, emotion is very difficult when you are in hot emotional levels. But it is like adjusting the sail in a storm. But we have to adjust our voice, our vocal power when it is needed. And then only we can bring harmony in our relationship, peace and harmony in our relationship. Number 3, speak well. Speak the love language. Marriage or relationship, it is made easy with love language. I know it's not always easy to be Pollyanna or happy all the time. But remember one thing, if we don't speak the love language sometimes, then what happens? It becomes like extinct species kind of thing. We forget and to say, I love you. Sometimes what happens when we are in the ice-breaking or honeymoon phase of relationship, then what happens? Love is in the air, love is in the lips 24/7. But when love thins out and real version of life is exposed to us, what happens? This is so difficult to say, I love you. It becomes a ritual of 4 occasions. Birthday, wedding anniversary, obligatory, in February, what we have that? Valentine's Day, yes. And Christmas time. But that's why it is very difficult that we, it's very important that we practice from time to time these love languages. You know what? This one day I was working in the kitchen and I heard my husband was speaking loud. I got curious and I wanted to hear what he was saying. He says, oh, I love you so much. I cannot live without you. Darling, I love you so much. I got curious. I said, hey, is it you or the beer talking? He said, it's me talking to my beer. Angels sing in comforting words. So what happens when we use small phrases, magic words like, honey, I trust you, I respect you, I'm incomplete without you. Think about it, small, but said sincerely, this can elevate and bring a magical transformation in relationship. You don't have to, if it is needed, fake it until you make it. That's why we are Toastmasters. Toastmasters, what is the logo? Where leaders are made. I say Toastmasters is not where only leaders are made. Toastmaster is where love is made. Friends, I have one suggestion to you, is that communication is the most of us, what do we want? We want to help our partners, but many times we don't know how. Communication is the ultimate art of relationship. And lack of communication sucks the mojo power of relationship. So what we have to do? We have to follow the rules of communication in relationship. So remember to speak out, speak and speak well, so that you can stay in marriage, you can stay alive, and you can stay out of jail. Now my second confession, and it's a juicy confession. You know, recently what my husband and I do, we fight a lot. It is so upsetting, I lost 15 pounds. And if you ask me, then if it is so bad, then why don't you leave him? Do you know why? Do you know why? Ask me why.
Why?
I want to lose another 10 pounds. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shukla. So still I don't have any confession, I'm single. How about you, Rohit?
Yeah, me too.
So guys, just take 1 or 2 minutes to evaluate wonderful speech of the Shukla. Then we'll go for the next humor.
We have one more speech.
One more
by
speech.
Olga. Olga's going to do her icebreaker. You can ask for her speech title, and Fiona is going to be her evaluator.
Sorry, what's the name?
Fiona.
Fiona.
Yeah.
What's your speech title?
The time to walk away of all drama.
Time to?
To walk away from all the drama.
From the drama.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit about you. When you joined, did you remember?
Yeah, I just recently become a member.
July?
Last session, July 2020.
Okay. Do you know what's your objective?
Sorry?
Do you know what your speech objective?
What's this mean?
I think it's your icebreaker speech as well.
Yeah,
Icebreaker
icebreaker
speech.
speech. Yeah.
And your name is, sorry, I forgot it.
Olga.
Sorry?
Olga. O-L-G-A. Yep.
So I hope you have already finished Shukla's evaluations. There is another good news is for us. This is the first time I got the second icebreaker speech we are going to happen today, and this is delivered by the Olga. She joined she is also the same like Rohit. She joined recently in our Toastmaster Club. And the title of her speech is Time to Walk Away from the Drama. And the evaluator for her speech is, her name is? Fiona. So everybody just welcome the Olga for her delivered speech. Thank you, Olga.
Good evening, dear Toastmaster members and guests. It's good to be here. See you all. Let me introduce myself. My name is Olga. To be honest with you, I prefer when people call me Ola. This is my real name. But unfortunately, not everybody can pronounce it properly. It's a little bit tricky. So there are people who pronounce it like Ola. There are people who pronounce it Olia. Most of the time, Spanish people laugh on me, and they always ask me again, wait a minute, what is your name? Is it really Ola? Because as you know, in Spanish, Ola means hi. So obviously, Spanish people like my name, and they find my name really funny. So that's because, that's why I have no choice but to introduce myself as Olga. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Moldova. This is a small country between Romania and Ukraine, and it's located in the Eastern Europe. I come to Canada almost 5 years ago. I have a bachelor's degree in journalism and communication skills, and I used to work as a journalist for 6 years back in my home country in Moldova. That was a very nice, great experience because I always love to work with people and I enjoy working with people. Then I decided to move to Canada, to immigrate to Canada, because all over the world, Canada is known as a democratic country, very friendly country to immigrants, strong defender as human rights, and the country which has a very strong economical and social system and can offer a lot of opportunities to immigrants. But also, one of my biggest dreams was to live in English-speaking country, because I love English and I strongly believe that one day I will be able to speak properly. So that's why I decided to immigrate to Canada. And as all immigrants, I had not easy experience with the immigration process, and it was not easy for me and my family, but it was just the beginning of my journey in Canada. As all immigrants, I have faced with the unfair attitude of Canadian system when nobody appreciates or nobody cares about your education, your experience from your back home country. And I have understood what means to live on your own in the foreign country without relatives and friends, and what means to live among the people with different other cultures, mentalities, values, and beliefs. And I know what means when everybody asks you, how are you? And all you can tell is, thank you, that's fine, I'm fine. And instead of sharing your feelings and thoughts, you start to speak about weather. So after 5 years living in Canada, I realized that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. But speaking seriously, I realized that there is no perfect place in the world to live. And of course, Canada is not an easy country, but apparently there is no easy country in the world. And if we want to live a happy life, we have to learn how to find positive things in every single aspect of our life, in every single day. So that's why, I realize that there comes a time in our life when we have to walk away from all the drama and surround yourself with positive thoughts, positive things, and positive people who make you laugh, who forget the bad and focus on the good. So this is my choice today. So I try to be positive as much as I can. I try to move forward no matter what circumstances do I have at the moment, and I try to set up new goals. And finally, I try to surround myself with positive things and positive people who make me laugh and who help me to focus on the good. That's all for today. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Olga. Sorry if I'm not correctly pronounce your name. I do apologize.
It's okay.
So, guys, please take 1 or 2 minutes to evaluate the Olga's speech. It will be highly appreciable. Okay, everybody. So before going to a break, I want to call the Ken for the humor tip of the day, which is a very interesting part of this Toastmaster. So please welcome Ken for the humor tip of the day.
This is Toastmaster. And turn on the camera. Give me a sec. Okay, everybody, humor tip of the day. The tip for today is something interesting. It's what I call acronyms. How many of you have acronyms at your workplace? You know, at your club, at your school. It's that alphabet soup that we all have to put up with, right? All the rules, all the regulations, and so on. Now, one thing that you have to think about is what separates insiders from outsiders are acronyms. For example, Toastmasters is no different. Actually, how many acronyms do you know in Toastmasters? Okay, Shukla, which ones?
DTM.
DTM?
CC.
CC.
CL. ACB, ACG, ACS.
ACS.
ACL.
Right.
So many.
Who knows those acronyms, actually? Nobody. All right. Okay. Now we're really getting to the heart of the matter here. See, the thing is, what separates insiders from outsiders is outsiders have no idea what you're talking about when insiders talk in acronyms. Now, that is a very strong motivation for you to learn those acronyms so you can become an insider as fast as possible and really assimilate into the culture. But we can take that one step further by making those acronyms humorous. By making it humorous, it is much more memorable, and you can add something take something that's really boring into something that's much more emotional, exciting, and something that you could really just have an insider you have an insider joke to an insider acronym, right? So you're like the insider of an insider. Something that I would encourage all of you to think about. Now, Shukla mentioned DTM, for example, Distinguished Toastmasters. Essentially, you would go through the educational track, the leadership track, and at the end, you get your Distinguished Toastmaster designation. That's the highest designation that you would get. Now, the question, of course, is how do you make that funny? Okay, so what you want to do is focus on the frustrations of that particular group. It could be people going overtime, it could be people not being prepared, it could be people not showing up for meetings. Whatever frustration is relevant, see if you can work that in to make that humorous. So who can think of something for DTM? Actually, does anyone know do you know the funny acronym for DTM? You know already, Shukla, right? What is it?
Don't time me.
Exactly. Don't time me. These guys have done so much designations, they like to go on and on. I think another one is like don't teach me. Was the other interpretation that they know so much already. You could basically keep rolling with this. What about, let's say, CC or CL? Do you know any of those funny ones for those?
I wait for you.
Okay. What about CC or CL? Do you guys have any thoughts that you can think about?
CC, competent comedian.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, okay. First of all, the real definition is competent communicator when you do your 10 speeches. So you said competent comedian. Okay, that's okay. That's pretty good. Any other strikes of lightning? I have one for cure for commitment, because apparently trying to get to 10 speeches is a relatively big barrier. So once you've done that, you can move on to get your wedding rings and everything else once you've got that CC handled. CL, I don't know.
CL?
Cure for laziness? Oh, you got one.
CL?
Yeah.
Competent liar.
Confident liar. Ah, that's a good one. That is a good one. That is a good one. So.
That was a speech he gave once, so I can remember.
Okay. Oh, CC, I think I thought of another one. Courage over confidence. So, I just thought of that one. So, think about the frustrations, the realities of it, and then you can make it funny. Now you really remember what DTM is, and then, oh, I know what DTM really means. Or CC, common commitment. Oh, I know what CC really means. Right? Now you got the insider to the insider. Take that to maybe to your workplace, and then you have something to bond with your group at your workplace and whoever you meet. That's it for that one. Thank you. Back to Toastmasters.
Thank you, Ken. Ken, 5 minutes.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken, for your wonderful tips, which I don't have any idea what is the DTM means, and the most one, the CCL, competent liar. Now we can go for a 5 minutes break. It's now 7:20. We can back in 7:25. By this time, you can have some water is close by, or if you want to use the washrooms, you don't need any pass like previous. So you can use the washroom if you want. So we'll back by 7:25, sorry. Thank you, everybody.
Wait, if anyone wants to do a Google review for me, that would be really cool. I'll have the site up. You can always do more.
I think the call took over because I think we do Best Buy speech, right? Were you here? Yeah. So okay. And you? Yeah.
Yes, have a second.
I have a question. I'm going to hear when I get the company, so it's oh, this is good.
There's a lot of people find this.
I don't know how to spell your real name. Is that it? So I put your other name. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for doing the timer. This is really helpful. I know. It's one of those things where you're basically giving them information. You're not really forcing them to wrap up. But some of them are actually looking for your part if you think of it that way.
No, the name is very important. I used to also sing in high school. Yeah, I was singing as well in high school. I like singing for a while. I used to sing in part of a choir. Yeah. I wanted to become an engineer more than a singer. That was more fun. Yeah, so right now I've switched over to software development, so I'm more in software programming. Yeah. Original country is India. Pune. Pune is near Mumbai. Near Mumbai, yeah. So I did my high school in New Zealand, and I did my university mostly in New Zealand and then a little bit in Australia as well. So I transferred over. So I didn't.
Have a chance to learn. Sorry about it.
No. I moved to Canada like 2 years ago. So 2.5 years ago.
It's generous. Anything and everything. No manual.
Yeah, but you are. How do I feel in Canada?
No
I
manual.
like it. Yeah, people are pretty nice, polite, and I like that. That's nice.
your idea.
Nice to meet you.
Ideal.
That's why
your ideal place.
I'm not too sure yet. I'm not sure yet. It seems good. I don't know.
Compared to Australia, New Zealand.
It's a good. I like people. Like the people are good in terms of learning. My goal is to achieve something. So that's where I want to live. I want to live wherever I can do really well.
5, 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. No, actually, just say whatever. Like, that's okay. That's no problem.
For me, it's an emotional person.
Yeah.
So, Toastmasters and words is not in your perfect that you or you don't make it.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem. You can do whatever you want. They're not. What's that? Your legs are not turning mobile. Yeah, actually, I'm very sorry about the time. I thought that you would give some education because like the end I tried to because I thought maybe I was under them. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So it's kind of confusing.
I was a little bit. I was actually kind of sitting down and like, that can't be 4 minutes.
Yeah, no, I mean like to be very honest, I didn't have much time to practice it because I also care about the time thing. But it was my first day of the job today. As a software developer, so I was like setting up my dev environment. I got a Mac that I've never used before.
You got stuff done today.
Yeah, so I got stuff done today.
Do you speak Romanian?
No, I understand.
Really?
Because I have Russian background. Yeah, my family came from Russia. In Moldova. I was born in Moldova, but it was like Soviet Union times. Everything was in Russian, and I used to attend Russian school, Russian university. All my friends.
No, it's better. It's better than Romania. It will help you more.
Here?
Everywhere. I mean,
here.
It's another foreign language. Romanian speaking only Romanian.
Yeah, so that was the story. So basically, when I wanted to come to Canada,
I wish I knew Russian. My aunt
so
is
that's when I
Russian.
in Australia as well.
And I see
Do their masters
the doors were a little bit more open.
So I started working at Western Foods
Yes,
first.
it's true. But
Here in
like
Canada,
in my country now, the things are like the things changed,
then I
and
moved
like
on to do a master's here.
But your
very
English
hard.
is very good.
Thanks.
Yes, and especially I
struggling.
think it's because you were a journalist.
Only when I thought that's it.
When you spoke about Canada, it's very good train of thought, and very good structure, and the vocabulary is there. So it's
Oh, wow.
great.
Okay,
5 years been in Canada? That's great.
It's very kind of you,
No,
but
no,
it's
it's
still
true.
struggling.
So, well, we all struggle, and it's going to take time for us to learn the slang.
Yeah.
to adjust, to speak like native speakers. But then when you go to US and you see that there is another kind of English, then you feel relaxed. Okay, I'm not bad. They can speak differently. In UK, they are going to speak differently. Here, they speak
And yeah, actually, like before
so
this,
good.
I
And
was
English
going out in Nepal Davis quite a
so
bit.
much
I
everywhere
hate
in the
Nepal,
world
to be
and
honest,
so
but I had
differently
to do it.
spoken.
So
We are
yeah, I got no
Thank you
business
very
card and
much.
everything, right? So I was doing all those things. It worked, yeah. So
Are you on LinkedIn?
yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, yeah.
That's the new scale. You know, what you learn.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because I remember there was another gentleman and he said, you know, he actually wrote us a book about it. You know, here's what happened when he, you know, searched to get a job in the tech world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of people say it's impossible, and it's not. You have to frame it so that Canadians who are very conservative can understand the side.
Ken? Exactly. Exactly, that's true, that's true. Yeah. Cool, thanks.
Thank you so much for
I want to read myself. And I pass it on.
Welcome back, everybody.
This means appropriately, so that means the speech is not appropriate.
So this is now, there is another interesting topics we are now going through, we'll start right now. That is the table topics. Parkin? Parkin, so I will welcome Parkin to conduct the table topics for today.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmaster and the most welcome guests. For those of you who are new here, I just want to shortly tell you what table topic is. It's basically try to improve your language skills and public speaking skills by experiencing yourself. So I'm gonna have a few lists of themes and topics that will flow you out, and then you give you a few short seconds, like 1 minute or two, think about it, and you can try to present about that idea and answer that question. It doesn't have to be long, or you can be creative, or you can actually talk about something else. It's all up to you. So may I just kindly ask, anybody want to volunteer first? Sure, Michael. Yeah, come on then. So yeah, let's listen. And this one you will get the word of the day too. So that's great. So it's the first one. Okay. So give yourself some time to think about, and then you can just tell the audience what the question is, and then you can. Okay.
All right. Who would you say, in your opinion, is the most resilient movie or TV villain? And why? Well, first of all, we need to decide and we need to understand what exactly is a villain. You know, sometimes villains and heroes, it's a blurry line. I mean, look at Batman, okay? Spider-Man. They would do a great deed, but they wouldn't follow the law step by step, okay? Sometimes they would act for the greater good, but they wouldn't follow the policy to achieve that. So, who's the villain? Who do you think is a villain? And why do you think that TV character is a villain? I think it's an important decision to ask yourself and to really justify it. I think that, you know, most people actually that I've come across actually have very good intentions. People want to achieve something. Sometimes they have an idea, they want to achieve something, but it's for themselves, it's selfish. when it's selfish, it's not always a good thing. But when it's about the community, it's what about what you can give to other people, what you can share. Well, most of the time it actually ends up in something good, right? Because you want to contribute and you want to share and you want to make the world a better place. And if you're such a popular person and a TV personality or an actor, you can decide. You actually have a responsibility to make that decision yourself as well. Do you want to be a hero? Do you want to be a villain? What do you think and why? Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you. Thank you. It makes me remember that perfect example of, can I borrow your bottle of water? Sure. You know, like whether you see this as a half full or half empty, you know. Sometimes we want to trick ourselves for that positive side of thing, which is good. But I just want to simply put this could be just my urine. Never know, right? There's a third one that you can always plug in, and that will help us proud through the thing. All right, so welcome guests. Anybody want to go for the second one? Want to try? Anybody? Sure, all right, let's welcome. Alice, yeah, that's cool. So, question 2.
All right.
Want to try this one?
Okay, so should I like talk about it or?
Yeah, you can talk about it, or you can do
All right.
whatever way you want. Okay, just enjoy.
Let's do this. Yeah. Okay. So how many times have you been grocery shopping, and it's one of those grocery stores where there's only one cashier, and there's people behind you, and you've been waiting in line, and then it's finally your turn, and then the cashier's checking all your stuff, and then it's time for you to pay, but your credit card is declined. There's a lot of people behind you. You're feeling stressed. Everyone's looking at you. You're like, basically like you are looking at me now. But in a sort of different context. You're smiling. People there are judging you silently. What would you do in that position there? Would you ask someone to pay for you? Be in that awkward situation? Or would you just leave the stuff and go home? Or what would you do? Let me hear what you guys would say.
Go home,
home,
just leave
right?
stuff,
Yeah, I'll do that too. Yeah, you could take credit from the store actually, if you can work your way, if you have the charm for it actually, to work your way for the cashier. Anyways, yeah, that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. That's
Thank
good.
you.
Good that you remember the whole thing without the paper. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Good. See, good stuff. Wow. So I don't know what to do too. So honestly, that's a very good question to flow out, and I'm glad you're here. All right. So, how about another one? How about sure, Fiona, come up. Yeah. That's right. Let's welcome. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh.
All right. So.
I don't know if I can read them.
Oh, somebody.
Okay. Do you want me to read it out loud?
Yes, please.
Somebody says, "Can you do me a favor?" before they tell you what the favor is. What do you do? I've got to admit, as Kenneth would know, I'm pretty outspoken. So, and I'm an engineer. So, and I've been in the tech world. So there we have learned that you have to ask a lot more questions. I would have to say, honestly, what before I would accept. Quite often I'm asked if people will say to me, "Could you do me a favor?" And I'm like, maybe. What is your favor? Because I don't think that's unfair. I think everybody's time and energy is quite precious. So I believe that I would say, because I was watching a movie last night, and the favor was that a stranger was asked to bring a disc over for someone who wanted to defect. And I turned to my partner and I said, would you do that? And he says, yeah, I'd probably do it. And then, as you can imagine, it's a movie, and it completely unravels on this man. Everything that can go wrong goes wrong, and all of a sudden his life's in danger. And I'm like, you see, yeah, I've traveled enough. I wouldn't want to do that. That's not my idea of a favor, because things can really go good and or bad. And yet, if we do pull back and if we do ask tons of questions, people won't want to approach us. And that's also not a great thing. So I would definitely, it says, what do you do? I would ask questions. Thank you.
You just persuade me. Now I'm gonna do that. Then instead I'll say, how can I help you? So maybe. That's very cool. Good. Wow. So let's just have our fourth one. So any probably newcomer want to try? No? All right. All right. That's cool. How about I can't? Rohit, do you want to try?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's good. Let's go and borrow a pass. Yeah. All right.
What is this?
The fourth one.
Save something to eat in the refrigerator. Okay, so you saved something to eat in the refrigerator, and then someone eats it. What do you do? So I have lived with flatmates, and I've been the one doing this actually. So I'll tell you what they have done. What they have done is that they've come to me and they knocked on my door and they told me, Rohit, we had a piece of cake in the fridge. Would you know where this piece of cake went? And what I tell them is that actually, yeah, it's right here. Actually, it's right here. But yeah, actually, it's not a good thing to do. To be in those situations, like from the other end, eating the food, or also having food which you really enjoy eaten in the fridge. Because when you go in the fridge, you're looking to fill a void. Sometimes you might have had a hard day, and you want that small piece of cake. And that could really help you. And when that's not there, it really gets on your nerves. And then people get angry. So you don't want to get people angry. You want to keep people happy. So don't eat other people's food like I did. Thank you.
Cool. All right. May I ask for a final contestant for the final ultimate question? Want to try? All right. No? Anybody?
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
She's fine.
She's trying? You want to try? Yeah, let's go on. That's right. Give her a round of applause. Yeah.
Difficult one?
No, not quite. Yeah. So on the last one. So, do you understand the question?
Yes. Do I need to read it aloud?
Yeah. Maybe afterwards.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you.
You are exiting for smelling bathroom as someone else comes in. You know they think you are responsible, whether you really are or not. What do you do? I don't know. It's a hard one. Why did you leave me a hard one?
Whatever you want.
I can do wherever you want. Okay. Somebody says, "Can you do me a favor?" Before they tell you what the favor is, what do you do? So I totally agree with Fiona that it's the best way to ask before the person. To ask questions, because our life is tricky, and sometimes there are we have all the time actually we have different people around us, and some people could use you, which is not good. And you know, I believe that we need to love ourselves at first, and to take care about ourselves at first, because if we don't know how to love ourselves, we finally don't know how to love other people around us and appreciate them and care about them. So that's why I believe that it's very important to appreciate yourself and to appreciate your life, your time, your forces, and to ask questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry to put you in that situation.
It's okay.
Yeah. Wow. Maybe next time I'm gonna do this one. All right. So that concludes our table topics. What's the next one? The votes. Okay. So let's just have tears your paper, the corner of it, and write down the name that you think is the best table topics. The names? Yeah. Oh, so we have.
You can vote for yourself.
Yeah. So we have our first question, which is Michael, right? Yeah. And then we have the second one. The checkout is the right there. Alice. Okay.
Right.
Alice. And then Do Me a Favor by Fiona. And there's something has been eaten by the refrigerator by Robert. Only for a table topic. Okay. And then finally we have the Do Me a Favor for Olam. Okay. So give yourself some time and think.
We'll give it to Perkin once you got the vote.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you. And I'm gonna collect the votes. Thank you. So now back to you.
Thank you, Perkin. Now it's time to evaluate all of our topics. So I will welcome Sudha Datta, who is our lead evaluations. Thank you.
Toastmasters for the day and fellow Toastmasters. Good evening to you all. This part of the meeting is very important for Toastmasters, any Toastmasters meeting, because that's where in this segment we evaluate our meeting in general, like what we have done, how we have done, what we can improve. But again, that's the role of general evaluator. But I have a team of people who will evaluate the speeches, and then we'll see other role players, and I'll ask for the report for all other role players. So let's first start with the evaluator. Our first speaker was Carl, and Carl's speech will be evaluated by Paras Batra. Okay, Paras, you have who is timer? Yeah, timer is 2.5, and 3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay,
That's correct.
all yours.
Thank you, Sudha. Hello, Toastmasters members and most welcome guests. I am here to evaluate Carl's speech, and I must admit I'm in no standing to evaluate his speech because he's a pretty experienced person, given that it was his 9th speech. He started with "What's in it for you," which was the title of his speech too, and I feel it was a very great start, given the objective of the speech that you had to motivate someone to take an action and use your speech to basically persuade someone to take an action, and also that the audience of this club today is a lot of new members and a lot of guests. I think you did a very great job with telling everyone what they need to do and what they need to come with. What is it in it for these guys to be more active and proactively taking up roles and taking up initiatives and taking up a lot more roles in the club. So I think that was you did a brilliant job in that. At least I was inspired. Also, I felt that your speech was very well structured around the word of the day, which was resilient, and you used it very well and almost appropriately in almost everywhere that you used it. Your closing message, which was, the only thing I felt was that you actually touched a lot of pillars. What's in it for you? How can I make it better? The only thing I felt was that you use a lot of similar statements to convey a notion, which I felt you could have basically done a better job with, but I think everything else was just phenomenal. So thank you, Carl, for your speech.
Our second speech was delivered by Rohit, and do we have a standby evaluator here?
I think you didn't see the speech, right? Speech number 2.
You didn't listen to the speech number 2.
So I think Carl's gonna do it next. So Carl, are you ready to? Yes.
So you are doing number
Carl's
2?
gonna do number 2 and
Okay.
3, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2, who is that?
Number 2 is Rohit.
Rohit, yeah, thank you. My friend here, Rohit.
Okay.
Let me get my glasses. Thank you. Rohit, it was your icebreaker. I think, in my opinion, it was an excellent icebreaker because you told us about you, and you said it in with vocal variety, eye contact, for example, gestures. What struck me was your optimism. Okay, your optimism, resilience, positive and cheerful. That basically how I would evaluate you. You know, how does it come across? Because you are a positive person. That I found out. Now, another things like opening, etc. You told us that you are going to speak about your high school life, three stages: high school life, university, and then Canada master's degree. And I tell you, you really moved around. I think it made you rich, as far as I'm concerned, because you gain in you from India going to Australia. Where between India and Australia?
New Zealand.
New Zealand, excellent. So you have really saw the world, and you learned, and in Canada, you got master degree in engineering, right? And now you work in software as a software developer.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you do it. If you want to survive, if you are really a new person, and you really have to take it as it comes and make it even better, not cry, okay? Because Canada doesn't like cry babies. Okay? so that's very, very positive. Again, resilience. I found this speech, I enjoyed it. You really made your objectives. I love, as I mentioned, those examples, basically optimism and resilience. You know, like we have it today. I keep repeating resilience, where I feel it fits, and definitely fits with you. You delivered pizza as a student. You know, I relate to all those things. So vocal variety was there. Eye contact was excellent, definitely. Gestures appropriate. You just have to be resilient, stick with it, and start with speech number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can do it. Thank you very much.
You don't need to go because you are evaluating the third one as well. Only thing is you have to change the
Change my papers. I'm glad I took both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, this will save time.
So what do I do now?
The third speech.
Third speech is
Shukla Datta.
Shukla Datta. I just don't want to mix it up. Yeah. So Shukla, I had to talk to you after because you came late, so I didn't know really what it's going to be all about. Now, when I spoke to you, I found out that you are DTM, that you did you got your DTM in 5 years, 6 years, and you've been with Toastmasters more than that. So all that suddenly opened my eyes, and I said, well, what can I add to this? Because you spoke about a topic. This topic is close to your heart. You know, to talk about marriage, how to stay in marriage and not to kill your spouse. This is humorous. This is not meant, even though sometimes people think that way, that moment, but they don't put that knife and do that. No, it's just emotional. And I'm married. By the way, you are married 35 years. I've been married 40. And one thing, so I cannot really, well, you told us your story, you told us things which you cannot really argue with, you just listen because this is your philosophy. By the way, Shukla wrote a book, okay? It's $10 for the book, she has it, okay? So you can buy it. So I enjoyed your speech. As far as your philosophy, thinking, and all that, I cannot argue with that. It's definitely your style. You went through this many times because you wrote a book, actually 3 books. So that I leave untouched because I'm a married man. You know when to not to touch things and when you touch things. But I would like to say that I would like to add to your speech is that 40 years of marriage, you know, I don't look at it as how not to kill my wife because I cannot even think that way. But it taught me over years that you have to actually adjust. You know, as you are older, as you go through stages, you have to regroup, you have to rethink, and you have to simply realize what is your priority in life. You know, it's not to get excited and all that. No, it subsides, and then regular life continues. So I would say you simply are wise. At least I think I am. And so if there is any of all this emotion, I just shut up. And that's the best way to handle those situations. So very good speech. I have nothing to add to your speech.
Our 4th speaker was Olga, and our evaluator is Fiona. So can we welcome Fiona with a big round of applause? All yours.
I would like to apologize to Ola and to my fellow Toastmasters in that I wrote Ola's evaluation on her own form, which I need to borrow back.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Didn't realize there was a separate piece of paper. So, Ola's first speech was her icebreaker, and I really enjoyed it. It was a chance to get to know you. When you came into the room, there's an energy about you. There's a charm about you that I really enjoy, and it definitely showed up in her icebreaker. So you're very presentable, you know, and charming. You did a great job. I didn't catch any filler words, so whoever's counting them may have, but I didn't personally hear or see any of them. So I believe that the speech really met the objectives. Good structure. I felt engaged. I also realized, having done it myself, that you wanted to keep your hands quite together. So I would encourage you to express yourself more, stick them out more, type of thing, okay? You have a beautiful smile. I'd love to see more of it. And I think it will give you more energy when you're talking to us. I was definitely in the back of the room, so it's hard to project that far back, right? But I really enjoyed it. So I really congratulate you on your first speech. Well done.
You were kind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have finished the speech evaluation part of it. Now we have joke master, Parkin Ho. Yep, you're here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's have some jokes. All right. So tonight our theme is 1, 2, 3. Resilient. All right? So when I look at the term resilient, it always just gives me that monk kind of feel. Like you're going to the temple, you try to ask the supermasters, and where all the mountains layers, the falls, the water going down, and then you meet this person. This looks like a monk. So you ask him, "How can I be resilient?" And then the monk actually says, "Oh, it's easy. Don't eat food. For me, I can live without food for 7 days. I just practice it. I say, wow, that's really good. So I said, but I really can't, so I'm just gonna move on. So I gotta go to the next monk, and then the next monk says, how can I be more resilient? And then the guy says, you know, I can actually go to a restaurant and eat 10 ramen at one meal and say, wow, how can you do that? That's really resilient. I was like, wow, really? Okay, that's cool. So, and then he finally meet the final guy who just sleeping there and then say, hey, how can I be resilient? I say, oh, it's pretty simple, you know? When I was tired, I just go to sleep. And when I was hungry, I just go eat some ramen. So it actually makes me the sense, oh yeah, that's right, that's pretty interesting. So what's all these resilient talk about, really? So when we talk about resilient, we think about it like a grizzly bear. That's something that is we trying to fight for. We always try to fight for. But then actually, it's not really that we fighting for it. Sorry, I just can take a look at some notes. It's actually, I don't actually need to feel like the pain. Actually, the pain needs to feel me. Put it this way, we can actually put our lives into different games. Think about it, right? I can play the games on my phone the whole day. I still feel happy and motivated, and I'm kind of feeling, wow, why can I be so happy while playing games, right? But why in life I can't treat my life just like how I play game? Put it this way, right? I can put my grizzly bear on my doorway and tell myself that it is not dead, it is just afraid to move. That teddy bear or grizzly bear, they're just afraid to move. What do I need in my life? I need in my life not just resilience, but something called passion and grit. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to this term, grit. What that term really means. Grit actually means grit actually means oh my god. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. In order to have grit, is to have a positive and non-conjugative trail based on an individual passion for a particular term or goal, and at the end, it feels good about it. Think about like a spring, right? You can actually feel something pressure every day. Okay? You can always resist, right? But one day it will expose, right? It will expose, right? Like you may actually try to think about when I'm gonna expose and try to launch me to my biggest dream or something. But no, guess what? It might not be the case, right? So the way that I try to play around with it is, yeah, I'll be like that. But I try to say that, you know what? When I have my own passion and dreams, and I'm just going to stick focused with that, as long as I understand that this is just part of the progress, there will be the other day coming up, and what I need to do now, I just make fun of myself. I just make fun of it. And that's the best way that I try to counter all these kind of pressure in my life. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share this, so thank you so much.
Most of you have not realized that he has just given the DTM speech, don't time me. So that he had no time limit. So that's what he did. Okay, may I request our timer to give the timing report, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Sudha. Wow, amazing job, everyone. So I haven't started my icebreaker yet because I'm so scared about the timing. I cannot make it. I cannot. I mean, either it's too short and I say nothing, or too long and I say too much. And then so I don't know. It will happen one day, but for the time being, I don't dare get in there. Amazing job, everyone. Really, really great. I will speak about the 4 speeches that we had today. We had Carl who spoke for 6 minutes and 34 seconds. Didn't get a red card. Amazing. Then Rohit, who I completely forgot about the time listening to his story, but I stopped the timer on time. So you had spoken about precisely 9 minutes 12 seconds, and then Shukla, yeah. Amazing story. And you have spoken for 11 minutes and 52 seconds. And then we had Olya. And you have spoken for 5 minutes and 23 seconds, and you didn't get a red card. So congratulations on that. Then we had the table topics, and great jobs for our guests. It's unbelievable how you guys made it within such a short frame of time, less than 2 minutes. And everyone has been really great here. So I think it's Michael we start with. You had 2 minutes and 1 second. Then we had Alice. Alice, yes. You have your table topic for 1 minute 30 seconds. Then Fiona, you had your table topic for, you have spoken for 1 minute 26 seconds. Rohit, 1 minute and 17 seconds. And Ola, you have spoken for 1 minute and 6 seconds. And Alice, Fiona, Rohit, and Olya had no red cards here. So that's great. And then we have the evaluators. And we started with Paras. Do I pronounce well? No? First we evaluated Carl.
No. Paras.
Paras. Yeah. He left, yeah. Okay. So, okay, 1 minute and 32 seconds. And then we had Carl, who evaluated for Rohit, 2 minutes and 41 seconds. And then the second evaluation Carl had for Shukla for 2 minutes and 58 seconds. And then Fiona, who evaluated Olya for 1 minute and 9 seconds. And I apologize to Sudha because I was supposed to evaluate the general evaluator. I was listening to you and I thought you are coming back for another one, and that's the second one I needed to evaluate, so I completely lost your time frame. Thank you so much.
And we are left with now grammarian report.
Hello. I just start. The car used 6 times word of the resilience, and then 1 time all, 2 times and the Rohit 6 times resilience. So among speakers, mostly you use the resilience, but the total is a car when you evaluating together, and also parking in your topic, you use the lot. So Rohit 6 times, and then 3 times, 2 times, and 3 times, and like 1 time. I'm not sure. I tried to be accurate. And Shukla, I didn't hear any resilience, but the filler words I only hear and. So it's a wonderful speech. I enjoyed it a lot. And Ola, is right? Olya? Olya. So Olya. There was no word of the day, but the not much filler word. 1 1 and. That's very nice. And then Canis, the humor-tip of the day, and the 1 and, the 1 like. And then topic, table topic, Michael, you mentioned the 1 resilience. And then 1 time it's like, yeah, it's a filler words. So anyway. And Elias, one time and. And Fiona, 2 times and 2 times so. But the speaking was so nice. And Rohit, in your 1 time so. And Olya and the one time. And general evaluator Shukla, for Sudha. Yes. 2 times all and 1 time It's a starting point. And then Paras, 1 time resilience, he used it, and 1 time and Carl, so total 8 times you use resilience. And then in your evaluation you mentioned the 4 times and fillers. And then Fiona, no fillers, so it's nice. And then joke master Perkin, you used the 8 times resilience, and that's all. Sorry.
What do you say? How many word you say? No, you don't count it.
I didn't count.
Word.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I mean word for the day.
Yes, word of the day. It's resilience.
Okay, good. Love counters report. Please. Yeah.
Okay, good news. For the groans and the we had none. So, and then for the laughs, I made the top 3. Shukla, 20 laughs. That was good. Not you in particular, but in the group. I counted the group laughs. Like 20 times people laughed for what you said. So that's a good sign, a very good sign. And then Kenneth, 13 times people laughed what you said. It's like for what you said, not you particularly laughing. And then Olia, 9 times people laughed for what you said. So that's wonderful. And then the gasps, like, and also not really when you talk, but more like when you breathe, gasping, I couldn't really make out this one, but I took a few, like earlier you had 5 times you talk and then you take a deep breath like that. So what I thought I'll take as a gasp. And then Rohit 3 times and Shukla 3 times. So you're almost, they're the same. And that was it. Thank you.
Yeah, so now we are at the end of all the reports. Now, as a general evaluator, I was supposed to be at the beginning of the meeting, but I arrived about 15 minutes late. And again, Hafiz knows the story. 401 was extremely busy, and we lost almost 45 minutes unnecessary waiting there. But that's not the excuse. So meeting started on time, and again, all the role players have done their job fantastic way. All the evaluators have done very good job. There are 4 speeches, and which is very good for a Toastmasters meeting. So, and again, I love to come to this meeting for this club because it's always full of energy and always a lot of speeches, a lot of humor, and again, it's a great chance to see. Meeting went well, and I think we are just catching up with the time. With that, I'll leave to Toastmasters once again.
Thank you, Subha. Thank you for wonderful evaluations and the teams. For right now, the best. Yeah.
Most enthusiastic speaker.
So we will make a vote for the most enthusiastic vote. So do you mind to just vote for the most enthusiastic speech for the day?
Anybody that is energetic, enthusiastic, and you want to vote for it.
Enthusiastic.
Oh, the first timers. That's the last one. Oh no, we got more. We're good. So why don't we do the awards?
Because you
still
use-
counting. Maybe you can ask for guest feedback while we're waiting.
So while we are counting the enthusiastic vote, so may I request any of our guests to just share his or her feedback? It will be highly appreciable. Fiona, Michael, or if I'm not mistaken, Elias or Anthony, would you mind to just share your feedback? General impressions of the clubs, how we do, or is there any things we need to be improved from your point of view?
Do I have to go there?
You can see it over.
Okay, so it's my first Toastmasters meeting. And yeah, it's really nice. I like it. Nice group of multicultural people, which is good. Yeah, that's it.
Michael or Anthony, any thoughts from you guys? Any feedbacks?
Yeah, well, I think that the technology is fantastic, and it's a very positive experience, you know, to generate laughs and to bring in humor, and it's uplifting. So, good stuff.
Thank you, Michael. Anybody wants to?
For me, it was very nice. I've been to Toastmasters in Johannesburg in South Africa, and this one is very, very lively, full of enthusiasm. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful feedback, everybody. Now I'll call the parking. Would you mind to just help me to come?
Sure. Well, I just.
So,
Do we have the banners? Oh, you got it already. Cool.
Yeah.
So before we go to the enthusiasm award, so let's go for the table topics. So may just give a round of applause for the winner of the table topics, Michael. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So you've been voted. Best speech.
Wow, thank you so much. Toastmaster?
Well deserved, well
Thank-
deserved.
thank
So
you.
I'm gonna give you this. That's the okay. So you can just put a
picture there?
Yeah, congratulations.
One more.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Ken.
Oh, well, the one last one.
Oh.
Yeah, the enthusiasm. So maybe you pronounce
you can
you
continue.
pronounce it. You pronounce it.
For this enthusiastic?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, what do you think? Most enthusiastic speech today? Any idea? Yes, it's not about that. It's our icebreaker, one of the icebreaker.
Oh, Rohit, for sure.
So, welcome Rohit for his most enthusiastic topics.
Thank you.
Now, and the most important things, the icebreaker. So, Ken, would you mind to come over?
Sure.
So, Ken.
So, we wanted to really encourage people to do their first speeches. So we have a special ribbon for our first timers who do their icebreakers. And today we actually have two icebreakers, Rohit and Olga. If you can, we usually do a standing ovation for our icebreakers. So, and I'll take a picture of that. If you could give a big round of applause for Olga and Rohit. And then I'll take a picture of you guys. Let's see. Okay, you guys stand here. And then I'll have the audience in the background as well. Stand in the, yeah, that's good. Okay, hold on. All right, start clapping, guys. Good stuff. Thank you, guys. That it? And then I'll just do a quick thing.
So in the closing note, I will welcome, so it's a wonderful meeting today. So on the closing note, I welcome Ken for some meeting at Johnson's. So Ken, thank you. Just take over.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thanks for where we still in meeting today. With all the changes, we still managed to really pull a energetic, lively, humorous meeting. That's great to see. For our guests, just to show how we work as a club, our fees are just $15 a month, and we work on a September cycle. So now's a pretty good time because it's already in August. So if you join now, it's only 2 months. So it's $30 for the club fee, and for a new membership kit, it will be another $30. So it'll be $60, taking you to end of September. And then at that point, you can decide whether you want to do the annual renewal at that point. So something for you to think about. If you do want to join, you can talk to our membership officer or myself. We can definitely help you with the process. And if you do decide to join, then you could start your Toastmasters journey like our icebreakers, where you have official speech objectives you can work towards, your DTM, where you do watch your time. And yeah, really just start on your educational and leadership goals. And I want to keep it time short, so have a great evening. Any questions, talk to any of us. Thank you.